Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope your day is good. Just remember, this is another day the Lord has made. We need to rejoice in it. And we also need to realize God has given us another opportunity to do something for Him. And if we could just learn to wake up every day and realize, I need to do something for God. I need to share God's message. I need to encourage others. I need to set a good example. There's so many things we can do in doing something for God, and it's just more than just saying a prayer or just trying to behave yourself. There's a lot involved, and we should want to do it. All right, the title of the lesson today is Fear Controls Us. And whether we will admit it or not, one of the strongest emotions controls us more than we realize. And even though the Bible instructs us to be anxious for nothing and to put your trust in God, we still have major concerns in our daily lives. See, many things we do every day are done by routine because we're afraid to get out of that routine. Things are so routine that we do not take the time to realize that fear guides them all. And it really does. See, we even have the fear of changing our routine, lest something unexpected might happen to us. And if we are fortunate to have a job, fear motivates us in doing that job well. And the fear of losing that job and the money or benefits that come from that job causes us to be careful not to lose that job. So the fact is, we all have a fear of making mistakes. And some people really don't care if they make mistakes, and depend on what the mistakes are, unless it affects them negatively. And still, fear controls them as well. See, mistakes can be costly on the job, in the home, or on the playing field. See, on the job, a mistake could cost you and the company time and money to correct the problem, and if the problem is bad enough, you could get terminated from that job. And a mistake in the home can cause grief to others. That may mean you sleep on the couch tonight, or it could mean you seemingly try to walk on eggshells because you do not want to say the wrong thing to someone who might be very touchy or who might get very emotional or just start screaming at you. And so a mistake in the marriage could cost you the marriage. We realize that. And if you make a mistake on the playing field, you and your teammates suffer loss of some sort. Sometimes we hear of a pitcher making a mistake. It's just because the other batter was good enough to hit a home run off of him. And such mistake, and sometimes we hear about the player that makes a mistake and is charged with an error. Now, these cause the other team to possibly score and maybe even win the game. And so it gives an advantage to the opposition when we make a mistake. And so we are fearful of letting our teammates down, and we try hard to avoid mistakes. And now, spiritually speaking, we should fear making a mistake, because this has the greatest consequence of all, the potential to lose our soul forever. In such case, a fear of making a mistake is a good thing. Yes, we don't want to make a mistake. We want to be considered good, and we want to stay on that straight and narrow. But we also have to realize that fear controls us more than anything else. There's an emotion that should be stronger and greater, but we do not act as if it is. And love is that emotion that should be the strongest thing that we do that motivates us, but honestly, it is fear. And so we should love God with a willing heart, and everything we do should be because we are willing to do what God asks us to do. And that should come natural for us, but it doesn't always do so. And so the reality of the matter is that many people just go to church and comply with the rules because they are afraid of hell and eternal damnation. And that's really the wrong way to look at it. See, many people obey the gospel because they were taught that they are lost and hell is a horrible place to spend eternity. And so our obedience to the gospel should be because we see the great love that God showed for us, and the love that Jesus had for us, and of course all the faithful saints have for us. And they were all willing to make sacrifice to help us get to heaven. And we should not obey the gospel simply to avoid hell. And that is the wrong reason to do so. See, the Bible has the command to fear not, do not be afraid, do not fear, do not fret. And I'm told that to do not be anxious. That could also be in that category. So I read recently that such a command is issued 365 times in the Bible. That is enough for one do not fear for each day of the year. So the reason this command is issued so often should tell us that we need to learn to put our trust in God. We don't have to be afraid. But yet, still, the idea that fear does control us. See, Romans 8:1 teaches us that there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. When we are faithful to Christ, when we are obedient to Christ, yes, there is no condemnation. But we are taught that as long as we serve God faithfully, we have a reservation in heaven. That's what we call our hope. And we should go to church because we want to worship God and not because we're afraid of going to hell if we forsake the assembly. We should want to assemble with the saints because we want to be edified, or maybe we want to have the opportunity to edify another. And we should not do it because we might lose our soul if we do not do it. So, I mean, it's pretty much saying the same thing, but we're looking at it from two different angles. One angle is correct, the other angle is not. And so realize also that fear keeps us from sharing the gospel message with others. Oh boy, now I'm hitting close to home, aren't I? See, fear, here's what. See, we're afraid of rejection. And nobody likes rejection. And so this is one of the major reasons people don't share the gospel. They're afraid of rejection. But like Jesus said, if they reject to his disciples, if they reject you, they are in fact rejecting me. And if they reject me, they're rejecting him who sent me. So it's not you that they are going to reject. It's the gospel message of God that they are rejecting. And so that fear of being rejected should not be there. And we are afraid of the potential maybe for persecution. We're afraid that people will make fun of us, call us names. And so don't you see that fear motivates us to not do what God wants us to do? See, fear prevents us from letting our light shine. We're told to let our light shine so that others can glorify God. And we are afraid that people will consider us peculiar or weird. And you know what? So be it. Let them think that if they want. I mean, Paul talked to the Corinthians about the fact that the things of God seem to be foolishness to this world. So people are going to call you a fool and names like that. But still, you know what? We're going to be considered peculiar. Even 1 Peter 2, verse 9 says, we are a peculiar people. That means a special people. But anyway, we just cannot handle any chance that someone will make fun of us and call us names. And that's the great fear that we have. We just want others to obey God and learn to reverentially fear him. But see, our fear causes us to hold our tongue. And that's not right. We should not be doing that. And so if you learn nothing else from this lesson, just learn to pay attention and speak the things that God once said. And guess what? Even if someone doesn't like you because of it, God is going to love you for it. And he's going to reward you for it. See, in Hebrews, I think 6, he says, God is not going to be so remiss as to forget all the good deeds you have done. God will remember what good you have done for him. And so fear causes us to blend into our society and culture because we're afraid of losing friends. We're afraid people will think funny things about us. And so perhaps this is one fear that we should pay attention to. For many Christians who have Christian friends, it's a good thing to hold on to. You hang around your friends, and guess what? You're all kind of watching out for each other and behaving in front of each other. But yet, if you don't have many Christian friends, the rest of your closest friends are not spiritually minded. I mean, that's true. And we all have people we call our friends, and yeah, we do things for them. They do things for us. But yet, when it comes to spiritual matters, they don't want to hear about it. They don't want to talk about it. And they're liable just to say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. That happens a lot on Facebook, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So the Bible has warning to not associate with non-Christians unless you're willing to teach them. See, here's the problem. Sadly, though, fear prevents us from teaching them. And if we're not careful, we will usually end up allowing them to influence us to do things God is not pleased with. You know, what it says, 1 Corinthians 14, fear, bad companions corrupt good morals. That's right. So you have to pay attention who you're hanging around. You hang around Christian friends, you know these people want to help you get to heaven. You're hanging around worldly friends, they don't care if you go to heaven or not. And so, and of course, there's plenty of passages talking about the fact that they want you to join in with whatever evil they may be doing, and they might consider you strange if you don't join in. You know, Peter said that, and Paul said that in Romans 1. Peter said that about these people. They consider you strange for not going to the same excess. So, examine your fear and realize practically everything we do is based on fear. And like I say, fear is a strong motivator. I mean, this year in 2020 has really shown us a lot of fear. The fear of dying from a virus, the fear of this happening, the fear of losing your job, the fear of whatever. I mean, all of these things control us. And we basically do everything because we're afraid. And we see other people doing things that there's no way I would do that, like maybe getting on a ride of some sort, or riding a bicycle along the edge of a cliff and stuff like that. I mean, yeah. I mean, some things we're afraid of. Some because we don't have confidence in ourselves that we could navigate the bike path without running off of it and then dying. So, yes, fear does control us. And we just have to learn to put our trust in God. I mean, there's so many times in the Bible it says, put your trust in the Lord. And so that's what we need to do. That was the lesson yesterday, trust in the Lord. So consider these thoughts. That's our lesson for today. And we're going to end here. And we hope that, we just hope that you will put your trust in God. Lord willing, we'll be back again tomorrow with another lesson. All right, bye-bye for now.